तो मैं सभी साथियों का स्वागत करता हूँ। warm welcome to all of you. A warm welcome all of you on Knowledge Junction 2.0 channel. And in my last video, I solved the MP Slet 2024. And in this video, I'm going to tackle the questions of West Bengal Slet English 2024, a very important question paper. And I hope all of you will keep noting all these things that are being shared here, and at the same time it's important that we must also keep on understanding the topics, keep on writing the questions that are there. So before starting, as is the trend, we know that we have started this Merry Christmas 2024 and Happy New Year 2025 offer, where our KJ complete lecture batch, which was of 12,000 rupees, including grammar and all recordings, is now at only 10,000 rupees. It's a complete package where you will get more than 60 authors plus all the practice material also, along with complete curated PDFs. So guys, it's going to be very, very important that you do go for this, and keep sharing and subscribing our channel, and keep sharing all these good information that you are getting. Okay, so let's start now our West Bengal Slet file is there, and we are going to solve all the questions of this very important file. So let's begin in all earnestness. Question number one is, who wins the line competition in the play 4 Ps? Before I start, one more information, that my book on Amazon is available. You can purchase that book, and also this question paper is available in our Telegram Poly English batch. We have already shared, so that is there. Okay, so let's start. So first question is, who wins the line competition in the play 4 Ps? The answer is Palmer. Okay, and this 4 Ps is written by Haywood. Okay, it is called as the greatest interlude of English literature. What were interludes? Interludes were brief comic drama. Okay, so that is there. Now question two. Kazuo Ishiguro got inspiration from a song to complete his novel The Remains of the Day. Okay, the name of the singer is, so the name of the singer is Tom Waits. Okay, and the famous song that he is singing was that he sang was Ruby's Arms. Okay, and he was an American singer. The Remains of the Day, this novel got the Booker Prize, and we know Kazuo Ishiguro was a Japanese, you can say, Japanese novelist who is settled in Britain, and he eventually get the Nobel Prize for his contribution to English literature in 2017. Okay, so let's move on to question number three. This is match the following, where we have to match. So, Land of Gulliver, we know Jonathan Swift is there. Then Land of Oz, Oz is this is written by Frank Baum. Middle Earth is actually by Lewis Carroll, basically, and sorry, Middle Earth is J.R.R. Tolkien. Okay, and Wonderland is by Lewis Carroll. So going by that, option number A is correct answer. Now a bit of information on Frank Baum, because he seems to be a little unfamiliar for all our learners. So Frank Baum was actually an American writer, fantasy writer. He basically wrote a very famous work called as The Wizard of Wiz, The Wizard of Oz. Okay, and this actually is called as on this novel, a movie has been made in 1939. This adaptation has been done, and it is called as world's most seen movie. So you can understand the importance. The Wizard of Oz, world's most seen movie. This movie is written, means the original novel was written by Frank Baum, and he writes children fantasy books. Okay, then Middle Earth, we know it's actually written by this. These are all settings of the fantasy worlds, and Middle Earth is, of course, the setting of Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, the two very famous fantasy novels by J.R.R. Tolkien, who is also called as the father of fantasy novels in 20th century. Lord of the Rings, of course, the iconic Lord of the Rings. Okay, so as the setting of Middle Earth. Now moving on to question number 4. What is the name of the fictional character, the genial and outspoken host of Tabard in Canterbury Tales? So that is a very, you can say, straightforward question. Harry Ballet is the answer. Okay, moving on to next question number 5. Which of the following Indian plays in English has Hasmukh Mehta as a leading character? So the answer is Where There Is a Will. So the play was published in 2013. It is by Mahesh Dattani. He is a very important writer. Okay, in the context of Indian English plays, he is the first writer in English to receive Sahitya Academy for his plays in English. Okay, Mahesh Dattani, that is. I think for final solution. So the place Where There Is a Will is by Hasmukh Mehta, who forego opportunities and then sees, his, you can say, see, and then from above he sees all the people, talking about him, and the ways in which he is being tackled from the above. That is from the after his death, his soul sees that. So it's a kind of play which talks about existential crisis and all other issues. Okay. So Mahesh Dattani is basically a writer of queer theories also. He talks about queer issues a lot in his plays. He is actually a very important writer. Plays like Final Solutions are written, Tara are written by Mahesh Dattani. Then Match the Events, then it's also a very important question. Gunpowder plot happened in 1605, and then foundation of East India Company, of course, uh, you know, happened in 1600. King James Bible 1611, first folio 1623. Then again, match the following. Uh, So the answer is commodity fetishism is by Karl Marx, okay, and then speech act theory is given by J.L. Austin, and then language games is by Lyotard, and cathexis is by Sigmund Freud. So we have got A again, I think. Yes, A option is correct. This term cathexis is new for us. So concentration of mental energy on one particular person. Cathexis, concentration of all mental energy on one particular person. Okay, so that is there. Then moving on, question number 8. Das Unheimlich. It's a German term basically, which means the uncanny. It means the uncanny. It's given by Sigmund Freud. Many questions have been asked in West Bengal Slet from Sigmund Freud. The Uncanny is actually a work written by Sigmund Freud in 1919. Okay, and it basically refers to unsettling observations. Okay, the observations which unsettle us, which disturb us, they are called as uncanny. Okay, by Sigmund Freud. It also may mean familiar yet alien, means things which are familiar and yet they are alien to us. So that is the uncanny, Sigmund Freud, of course, and that this word is term is from German language. Okay, then which of the following theorist is one of the main exponents of psychography? Now, psychography, this I found as very exciting topic, a new topic. Actually, psychography, this term is given by one of the main exponent was Guy Debord, and along with Guy Debord, there is one more fellow called as Gill, Gil, Gill, J. Volman, Wolman. So these two are founders of psychography. So psychography is basically, this is founded by another organization called as LI, that is Letterist International, Letterist, Letterist International. Okay, and it is a, you can say, Paris-based radical artist organization. It is a Paris-based radical. Radical means revolutionary. Okay, radical artists organization, which mainly worked from 1952 to 1957. Basically, you can see them as like jazz only. Sorry, beat poets only. Beat poets were working in America, and LI was working in Paris. So LI was a radical artist organization, and LI, the two founders of LI, that is Letterist International, were Guy Debord and Gil J. Woolman. They founded psychography. So what is psychography, by the way? Psychography is basically uh, it was given in 1955, and it basically is the study of precise laws and specific effects of geographical environment on environment consciously or unconsciously, or on emotions and behavior of people. So basically, it is the study of urban environment and its impact on human behavior, roughly in a very easy language, in a very simplified way, and its impact on human behavior. This is psychography. Now, in psychography, there is one more term that he gave, that is derived, DERIVE. That can be asked in our net also. Derived means unplanned journey through urban landscape. Derived means unplanned journey, like you just aimlessly wander then in an urban city, that is called as derived. So, unplanned journey through an urban landscape. I am not writing the complete phrase. Unplanned journey through an urban landscape. Psychography. Okay, so the answer is A, Guy Debord. The term comedy of menace, very famous term. It is applied to Harold Pinter plays. It is given by Irving Wardle. Irving Wardle gave this term in an essay, critical essay, The Lunatic, Lunatic, The Lunatic View, a comedy of menace. A comedy of menace. In this essay, lunatic is Lunatic, lunatic means mad. The Lunatic View, a comedy of menace, 1958. 1958. Okay. This term was given by Irving Wardle. So, comedy of menace basically means comic plus tragic, indefinable sense of fear. So, comedy of menace involves comedy plus tragedy. Okay, and the main one of the main writers was Harold Pinter, who received Nobel Prize in 2005. In which of Jane Austen novel Edward Said's Culture and Imperialism find the links between domestic prosperity and overseas plantation? The answer is Mansfield Park. Identify the short story collection of Peter Carey from the following. The answer is The Fat Man in History. This is his short story collection. Now, Peter Carey is an Australian novelist and a short story writer. Okay, Bliss was his first novel. Elie Walker was his second novel. Oscar and Lucinda, I think he got Booker for it, and that was in the third novel. And who was the first English writer to win the Nobel Prize in Literature? So the answer is very easy. Rudyard Kipling got it in 1907. Then, which of the following is not a journal level metric? So this is a question from research methods and aptitude in English. So H index is not a journal level metrics. It is a researchers. It is a metric of researchers' productivity. Researchers' productivity. So this question is asked from unit number 10 of NET. Research methods and methodology in English. All these three impact factor पे बहुत questions आ रहे हैं. Impact factor, aging factor, and site score. All these are, you can say, journal level metric. Charles level Dickens. This is a very important question. Dedicated Hard Times to Thomas Carlyle. Okay. Who wrote the essay Naipaul, India in Mind? It's a very important essay. It's a polemical essay. That means attacking essay on V.S. Naipaul's Indian views. So it's written by Nissim Ezekiel. Which of the texts below is not a novel written by Saul Bellow? So it is not a novel. So White Noise is not written by Saul Bellow. Don D. It is written by Don D. Lillo. He is also an American postmodern writer. Don D. Lillo wrote White Noise. All these three novels are written by Saul Bellow. Now, Saul Bellow is an American Nobel Prize winner. He is an American writer. American Nobel Prize winner, and he received the 1976 Nobel for his writing, especially his novel Herzog is very important. Herzog. Herzog was written in 1964. The City and the City is an example of urban science fiction written by China Mayville. China Mayville is a British writer. She has written the novel The City and the City. Okay, the novel was written in the year 2009. Okay, and it is a multiple award winning novel. Multiple award winning novel. China Mayville, and the China Mayville, the writer is from Britain. Dryden's All for Love is based on Antony and Cleopatra. We all know that. Match the following. Okay, so the answer is straight away. The answer is four. That sorry, A. That means John Lilly wrote *The Woman in the Moon*. Thomas Lodge wrote, of course, *Rosalind*. Robert Greene wrote *The Pandosto*, and Kidd wrote *Arden of Feversham*. So the question is from University Wits. In Apology for Poetry, our world is brazen. The poets only deliver a golden. And then ascribes this power to the poet's own invention. Which ancient authority does he invoke? So he is invoking Longinus here. Okay. Which of the following is not unethical research conduct? If you remove not and un, then it becomes ethical research conduct. So the answer is hypothesis is an ethical research conduct. Plagiarism is unethical. Falsification of data is unethical. Fabrication of proof is also unethical. Which of these is not a position of encoding decoding according to Stuart Hall? So Stuart Hall gave this famous formula called as DON, which is a dominant hegemonic position, O is oppositional position, and N is negotiated position. So these three are there. So which is not there? The negotiated oppositional position is not there. So D is the answer. Stuart Hall, this question is from Culture Theory. Okay. Many native speakers of Bengali and Hindi often speak English with Bengali or Hindi words, Bengalish or Hinglish. So this is hybridization. This process is called as hybridization. Okay. Then again, has the characters of Salman Rushdie's work. So the answer is A, which basically means Mr. Sengupta is from Harun and the Sea Stories. Adam Aziz, very important, is from Midnight Children, the Booker Prize winning novel from Salman Rushdie. Raja Haider is from the novel Shame, and Maximilian Ophuls is from Shalimar the Crown. Okay, with which of these theories do we associate the term hyperreality and simulacra? So John Baudrillard is the answer. It's a very important question from postmodernism. Hyperreality and simulacra. He also wrote simulacra and simulation. Okay, which Indian English poet is the first recipient of Sahitya Academy for English poetry? So the answer is Jayant Mahapatra. I think he got it for relationships. Okay, and that was in 1981. If I am not wrong, you can just check it also in case. Okay, which of the following is not true about language? It is not true that it does not have a deep structure. It has a deep structure. What is true, by the way? It is dual in character. It is social phenomena. It is arbitrary in nature. Language is arbitrary in nature. We know that. Ferdinand de Saussure famously coined that. Question number 29. Which of the following characteristics, according to Longinus, causes an obstacle in the achievement of sublime? So the answer is amplification. Both A and B cannot be possible because grandiloquent diction and strong passion, these are the causes of sublimity, but he is asked causes an obstacle in the achievement of sublimity. So amplification is the answer. In which of the following plays does Shakespeare make Ulysses expound the Elizabethan way of the universe? So the answer is Troilus and Cressida. Match the epigraphs. Answer is B, which basically means vengeance is mine, I will repay, is from Anna Karenina, the great novel by Tolstoy. You are all a lost generation. So the sun also rises by the great Hemingway. And I only escaped to tell you. So this is from Moby Dick, the great American novel. And Only Connect is by, of course, Howard and by E.M. Foster. So B is the correct answer. As of 2021, which of the following is not a free plagiarism? Check resource. The answer is Quetext. which is not a free plagiarism resource. Duplichecker is free, Viper is free, and Plagium is also free. Which essay by R.K. Narayan deals with the status of English in India before and after independence? So the answer is it's 15 years. This is a very important essay written by R.K. Narayan on the status of English. Which of the following novel is not written by Stephanie Meyer? So this question is very interesting. Is not written by Stephanie Meyers. Actually, Stephanie Meyers is known for her very important. She's an American writer of vampire series, and she wrote actually the Twilight series. Okay, Twilight series, which is a very famous series of vampires, vampire-based novels. She writes about horror fiction and all, and she has written 4 books plus 2 spin-offs. Spin-offs is like indirect adaptation, plus one novella, and a series of you can say series of commercially successful film adaptations are done by Stephanie Meyer. So actually the answer is, but the question is, which of the following is not written by Stephanie Meyer? Twilight is of course very famous by Stephanie Meyer. Eclipse is also there. Life and Death is also there. The one novel which she did not wrote died is The Vampire Lestat. It is written by another Canadian vampire writer who writes on the tropes of vampire, Anne Rice. Okay, so she has got a very famous novel, into a novel Interview with the Vampire, Anne Rice. So this vampire and all this comes under Halloween or horror novels. We know about that. In my MP set paper, I have discussed Halloween, Interview with the Vampire. The study of poetry, Matthew Arnold claims for the poet, the idea is the fact. What does he mean by this? That poet values poetic truth more than the empirical truth. What does the word net speak denote? Digital resources. It denotes digital resources. The following quotation is from the preface to a mid 19th century novel. Since the author of Tom Jones was buried, no writer of fiction among us has been permitted to depict to his utmost power a man. This is by Pendennis in the novel Pendennis. The novel Pendennis is written by W.M. Thackeray, a Victorian satirist novelist. Okay. Who among the following is associated with the volume Tales of Grotesque and Arabesque? If you remember my Gothic notes, you will find out this writer is none other than the great American short story writer Edgar Allan Poe. In Mamang Dai, the Black Hill is setting of Arunachal Pradesh. Mamang Dai is a very famous northeastern writer in India, presently writing about the issues faced by the northeastern people in India. Blessed was it in that dawn to be alive. This is the question specifically that we were doing just a day before in our lecturer classes. So of course it's written by the great William Wordsworth, and he wrote it in Prelude, under Prelude. I think book 9 it was, or book 11. I'm not sure. We have just done it. Then Prelude, French Revolution. I think line number 104 or something. Okay, French Revolution. So Wordsworth. Full many a flower is bound to blush unseen and waste its sweetness in the desert air. Very, very important line. It's again by Thomas Gray, and it's from Elegy written in a country churchyard. Very important. Which medieval text sought to reveal the secrets of afterlife? Okay, so it's written by Dante's Divine Commedia. It tells the secrets of afterlife. Who wrote the poem on the grasshopper and cricket? It's very important question. Currently, we are doing John Keats, if you remember, in lecturer batch. So John Keats wrote this poem on the grasshopper and cricket. Okay, so you can understand the questions like this. Then statement assertion questions are also very famous in our net paper. Can be asked in our poly exam also. In statement assumptions, we have to first of all find out the statement, and then we have to find out from the factual point of view whether the fact is correct or not, and then whether the assumption is correct for that statement or not. So both the things are to be tested from the outside fact. Whose language? It is not hostility to English that I am pointing attention to. but simply uncertainty over the ownership of the language, and assumption is Indian English is a hybrid information. Okay, so there are two assumptions. Sorry, the statement is there, and there are two assumptions, and then we have to find out which assumption is correct. So the answer to this is first is incorrect and second is correct. That means Indian English is hybrid formation. This is not meant by this statement, and using a language is not the same as claiming ownership over it. This is what is the indirect meaning coming out from this statement. So B answer is correct. Who wrote the Fakir of Janghira? Very famous question. Okay, the first Indian English poet, Henry Louis Vivian Durazio, also called as the young Bengal poet, also called as the youngest professor. He was half Indian, half Portuguese. Henry Louis Vivian Durazio, early 19th century. Okay, then match the poets and their composition. So Keki and Daruwala, he wrote Crossing of Rivers. Jayanta Mahapatra, sorry, sorry. The answer is, let me just correct the answer first. The answer is C, which basically means Kekian Daruwala, yes, wrote Crossing of Rivers. Jayant Mahapatra wrote Space. And Arun Kolatkar wrote a very famous Jejuri, which won the Commonwealth Prize also. It's called as Milestone in Indian English poetry. And Kamala Das, of course, The Descendants. So C is the answer. Then which work do we find the following characters? Raghu, Dehuti, and Tara. So Raghu, Dehuti, and Tara. These are the characters from V.S. Naipaul's A House for Mr. Biswas, which is a very famous first debut novel of V.S. Naipaul. Went on to receive Nobel Prize later on. Also receive, I think, Booker also. What is Urkund? This question is very important. It is an anti-plagiarism software. Okay. The poem Passage to India. So the question is tricky. It's not asking the novel. So the novel is written by E.M. Foster, but the poem Passage to India is written by Walt Whitman. In which work does Thomas Carlyle denounce scientific materialism? Sartor Resartus, which is a satire on the materialism by of science. Okay. Sartor Resartus is a German influenced term and it means tailor retailer. Which Indian novelist? So I put this as a 5-star question. Was enlisted in the Spanish Civil War as a soldier. So Spanish Civil War occurred from 1936 to 1939. It is called as prelude to the Second World War. And in this Spanish Civil War, Mulk Rajanand actually was enlisted as a soldier here. In an essay on dramatic poesy, Lycidius contends that the end or function of drama is the delight or instruction of mankind, which so ancient authority is being invoked. We know Horace to delight as well as to instruct. These are the two fundamental concepts of Horace. Across the black water, sword and sickle are the last two parts of a trilogy. What is the first novel? The novel is Village. So you have to remember the code VAS. First is Village, A is Across the Black Water, S is Sword and the Sickle. Okay, Kambili. Kambili is the central character in a very famous African classic novel, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's Purple Hibiscus. The way she is exploited is mentioned here. It's a tragic novel. Bulk of British neo historical fiction is written in the 20th century, revisits the Victorian period. So if you see that many new historical fiction writers of 20th century, they have written on the Victorian period. For example, the very famous Booker Prize winning novel Possession is all about Victorian period. It is written by A.S. Byatt in 1990. It is a retelling of Victorian, you can say, writers. We call such novels as, if you remember in my literary terms class, Roman de Clef. Roman de Clef is a novel where the writers are indirectly hinted. They are indirectly, you can say, portrayed Now will be the key, Roman de Clef. Okay. Who initiated the movement known as nativism that opposed the use of English? So the answer is Bhalchandra Nemade. He is a Maharashtra born writer, and he received Gyanpeeth. He also received multiple awards in Maharashtra. He was a professor of English there in Gyanpeeth in 2015. Sahitya Academy he received in 1991. Okay, and his debut novel was Kosla, which is a very famous novel, Kosla, Kosala, written in 1963. Bhalchandra Nemade, he is from Maharashtra. Okay, then match the following all the works related to thugs. So the answer is B. Okay, which effectively means Confessions of a Thug is written by P.M. Taylor. The Thug, the True Story of India is written by Mike Dash. The Thing About Thugs, Tavish Khair, and Notes on a Thug is written by William T. Meadows. Then match the theorist in list 1 to the list they belong. Answer is B, which basically means German Greer is associated with second wave. Bell hooks is associated with third wave. Teresa de Lauretis is associated with fourth wave. And Rosemary Redcliffe Ruther is associated with ecofeminism. One name that you have to work upon is Teresa de Lauretis because she is going to be asked in your early exams also. Fourth wave feminist writer. Teresa de Lauretis, Lauretis. A journal will get one impact factor based on the calculation of citations in the past 2 years. This is the rule for impact factor. It has to be calculated on the past 2 years. Mudruru, very famous pen name in Australian writer Colin Thomas Johnson. He writes about Aboriginals. Aboriginal literature is a very famous literature in Australia. Okay, which basically means the native tribe of Australia. Which of the following is not a carpe diem poem? Is not a carpe diem poem. So the answer is Hesperides. It is written by Herrick. It is not a carpe diem poem. Rest of the poems are based on carpe diem. Carpe diem. Okay. The second Shepherd's play belongs to the cycle of the Wakefield cycle. The Withered Arm is a short story by Thomas Hardy. So remember that. I sometimes hold it half a sin to put in words the grief I feel, for words like nature half reveal and half conceal the soul within. Okay, so this is of course Tennyson's In Memoriam. Which of the following is not a play by Plautus? Plautus is a classical comedy writer. Okay, and it is not written. Phormio is not written by him. Bacchides, Menkemi, and Aulularia is written by Plautus. Then read the following extract. So this is an unseen passage. So based on that, we have tried to find out the answers for you. The question number 66, the answer is difference between a philosopher and novelist is philosopher speaks about life in heaven, novelist speaks about everyday life. Then 67, the author in the passage compares the novel to human body. The author compares the novel to a tin can business because both novel and tin can have contents which according to the author are alive. The future of poetry is immense is the first line of an essay by Matthew Arnold. The name of the essay is The Study of Poetry. This is the name of the essay. Who among the following wrote Alton Locke? So Alton Locke is written by Charles Kingsley. He is a Victorian novelist, late Victorian novelist. Okay. The author who said that darkness is one of the greatest sources of Gothic sublime, said by Edmund Burke. He wrote this in the Philosophical Inquiry into the Origins of Ideas of Sublime and Beautiful. This is the name of the work in which he wrote this. Adam Burke wrote his Theory of Gothic Sublime. In Ars Poetica, Horace favors use of aphorisms. Okay. Carnivalesque is Bakhtinian concept explored in the following text. Identify it's Rabelais and his world. Rabelais was a great, you can say, European, great French satirical prose work or novel, exactly, you can say. It is called as one of the first modern novels. One of the first modern novels. Not exactly the first modern novel, because modern novel can be Don Quixote by Cervantes, but it can be called as one of the first novels. Okay. Which character in Dryden's An Essay of Dramatic Poesy analyzes the characters of heroic tragedy with special reference to Siege of Rhodes? So the answer is Crites. The term magic realism was introduced, very important, 5-star question. There in our lecture also, postmodernism, because this concept is indirectly related to postmodernism only. So it's given by, of course, Franz Roh, who was a art critic, German art critic, and he gave this concept in 1925. I am writing the name of the German book also. The name of the book is Nash Expressionisms, Magical Realisms, Magischher Realisms. Okay, which basically translated in English as After Expressionism Magic Realism. बल्कि मैजिक भी नहीं है, मैजिकल रियलिज्म. Okay. So Franz Roh, a German art critic in 1925, coined the term magic realism. Basically, it is a postmodern technique of postmodern writings where the real and the fantasy are blended together in such a way that it keeps on, amusing us. The purpose of magic realism is to entertain. Okay. Which of the following novel does not contain a court trial? It is Death in Venice. It does not contain a court trial. Death in Venice. Okay, it's written by the German Nobel Prize winner Thomas Mann, Mann, and the novel is considered as a novella. It is a novella showing the destructive power of obsession. All the three other novels, they have the courtroom trial scene is there. Bleak House is written by Charles Dickens, of course. The Outsider is written by Albert Camus. If you remember Albert Camus, one of the very famous writer who introduced Myth of Sisyphus, a very famous essay which is supposed to bring absurd literature on the world in platform. Myth of Sisyphus. This is an essay, critical essay written by Albert Camus. We pronounce him as Camus. Okay. To Kill a Mockingbird is of course an American classic. It is an American, you can say, modern novel, very famous novel. To Kill a, it's written by Harper Lee. Harper Lee in life only wrote 2 novels. She's a female novelist, but this novel became the overnight success and is considered as one of the greatest novels of 20th century America. To Kill a Mockingbird. Okay, it's a racial parable. Question number 77. Great Wall Shift. So it took place from 1400 to 1700. Which of the following text is not an example of kitchen sink drama? Fallen Angels is not an example of kitchen sink drama. It is written by some Hong Kong writer. His name is Wong Kar-wai. 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 Wong Kar-wai. He's from South Korea. Sorry, Hong Kong. And all these writers are very important. Look Back in Anger, we must have heard or we must have studied in our MA course here in Uttarakhand. Roots is by Arnold Wesker, a very important, powerful, you can say, kitchen sink drama. Saturday Night and Sunday Morning is actually a novel. Then it was eventually adopted into a drama and play and a movie also. It's written by Alan Silito, Sillie. So then assertion reason questions are there. Both A and R are incorrect. So B is the correct answer because both are incorrect. It indicates the failure to create characters. This is incorrect. Wordsworth adhered to Longinus theory of sublime. That is also incorrect. Which of the following poetic work is not by Aga Shahid Ali? Aga Shahid Ali is actually a Kashmiri born immigrant poet from India. And Trishanku is not written by him. Actually, Trishanku is a short story collection written by Manu Bhandari. Okay, in 1995. Trishanku is also a series of reflective novels in 1945 by the great Sachidanand Vatsayan, famously called as Agray, and T.S. Eliot of Hindi literature. The great Agray wrote Trishanku. It's a series of essays, reflective essays in 1945. Okay, so the rest of the all three works in the top here, they are written by the great Kashmiri poet Aga Shahid Ali. Okay, and 81. Who is the author of La Morte d'Arthur? So we all are quite familiar with the writer Thomas Malory. Wonderland by Joyce Carol Oates is actually a novel. It is influenced by the original Alice in Wonderland, and Joyce Carol Oates is a writer of 58 novels. In 1971, he wrote a famous Wonderland Quartet, a series of novels. Okay, who among the following is not an Indian graphic novelist? So this is a very new type of question for which we all admire West Bengal Slet. Their range and their depth of asking questions is admirable. So basically here the top three writers are basically, oh sorry, not top three writers, but first, third, and fourth. They all are basically graphic novelists. That means they are kind of novelists which who uses pictures in their writings. Kiran Nagarkar is the answer. He is not a writer who is from this group. Kiran Nagarkar is known for a very famous novel, Ravan and Eddie, Eddie, okay, which was published in 1994. And I think his one more novel is Cuckold. Cuckold means when a woman kind of dominates a man in a married relationship. It's written in 1997. It received Sahitya Academy in 2001. Cuckold by Kiran Nagarkar. Okay, I would really recommend all of you to read and make notes on Sarnar Banerjee, Samit Basu, and Debasmita Gupta because these are the trending writers that can be asked. Who is the writer of Epistle? Title of that sort of dramatic poem that is called tragedy. It's written by John Milton in his preface to the great Greek tragedy Samson Agonist. So, Samson Agonist. Okay. Match the following. The answer is D, which basically means Count Cullen is associated with Harlem Renaissance, the great Renaissance of blacks in America. William Burroughs is actually associated with Beat Generation. Then Nozak Shange is associated with Black Arts Movement, and Truman Capote is associated with American Neo-Realism. Then question 86. Who described Wasteland as a music of ideas? Very easy question. I.A. Richards. Who among the following wrote the Renaissance? Actually, the answer is Walter Pater. The complete title is Renaissance, subtitle as Studies in Art and Poetry. Studies in Art and Poetry. This essay is very, very important essay, guys. It was published in 1873. It is called as Manifesto. The Renaissance is called as Manifesto of Aestheticism in Britain. Okay, that is art for art's sake. Isaac Bickerstaff was a pseudonym used by one of the following authors. Identify it's by Jonathan Swift, but it was also used by Joseph Edison and also sometimes by Richard Steele. So there are two or three writers who use the term Isaac Bickerstaff. In book 11 of Paradise Lost, Eve wanted to do the gardening separately from Adam because she wanted to have greater work done. What is the source of the plot of Milton's Samson Agonist? The source is the Book of Judges. It is taken from the Old Testament. This great, actually, this type of testament, MENT. This type of play is called as, you can say, what do we call such plays? Closet drama, where there is no action but only narration. The focus is more on drama. So This is closet drama example. So, what is the story of Samson against Samson is a judge of Israel and he was gifted with great physical strength, but he was cheated by Delilah. Samson was cheated by the lover Delilah, Delilah. Okay, and then eventually he was blinded by Philistines. Philistine people blind him. So it's an autobiographical work. It's called as greatest Greek tragedy of English literature and also greatest Greek play by Milton, of course. Okay, it's a verse drama. We call, apart from closet drama, there is another term for it. We call it as verse drama. Okay, question number 91. Then we have got the match the following. Okay, so match the following. The answer is C, which means Nicholas Rowe is from New Historicism, and then Jonathan Bate is of course eco-criticism. Paul de Man is related to postmodernism, and Clint Brooks is new criticism. Hauntology, it's a very interesting term. So hauntology is being asked in West Bengal Slet. So this is a work written in 1993 in the work Spectres of Marx. Spectre means ghost. So basically hauntology means it is made from two words, haunting plus ontology. Haunting plus ontology. So haunting means anything fearful which keeps on coming in our life is haunting. So basically it refers to range of, I'm not writing, you can write range of ideas referring to return of social, cultural past as in the manner of ghost. So if anything which has a tendency to reoccur or return in terms of social or cultural past, in terms of like ghost, so that is called as hauntology. Which British author Bakhtin praised to his superb rendering of dialogism and heteroglossia? Basically, he praised here Charles Dickens. And what is heteroglossia and dialogism? Basically means the interplay of diverse social voices. Means in the novel, if you give voices to the diversity, if you diversified your social voices, that means giving voices to all the people of society, upper, lower, middle, that is called as heteroglossia. It's a term by Russian formalists. Bakhtin is one of those. Find the odd one out. Of course, we know Sri Aurobindo is not a Indian aesthetic critic. Abhinav Gupta is there. Kuntaka is there. Ashtavakra is also a critic, classical critic. Who uses the term archaeology to describe his research methodology. This term is written by the book in the book Archaeology of Knowledge, a classical masterpiece of anthropology and various other disciplines. Is written by the great French anthropologist and post-structuralist critic Michael Foucault. Okay, it's all about the famous discursive practices, the famous word discourse that is given by him, the internalization of power. Okay, so discursive formulations, the book talks about the discursive practices or formulations by those who are in power to exploit those who are in marginalized areas. Who introduced the concept of double consciousness? Very important. So it's given by W.E.B. Du Bois, the great black African critic, The Souls of Black Folk. This is a classic masterpiece of black or African criticism, The Souls of Black Folk. Okay, in this work he gave the concept of double consciousness, which basically means the blacks should have to be true to their black culture or black heritage, but at the same time the blacks have got the another identity that they have to maintain, and that is conforming to, okay, dominant white society. He, a black, has to also conform, conforming, to dominant black, sorry, to dominant white society. So that is double consciousness. He has to be consciously aware of both the identities. Which of the following was associated with Bloomsbury Group? So the answer is Mulk Raj Anand was a key member of Bloomsbury Group. In fact, on our more research on Mulk Raj Anand, we found out that he did his PhD on Bertrand Russell in 1929. In 1929, and he was also a product of Cambridge University. Okay, which novel by Virginia Woolf was published in 1922, a seminal year for the modernism in England? The answer is Jacob's Room. Okay, then name the only comedy written by prominent American dramatist Eugene O'Neill. This is A Wilderness, which was written and published in 1933. And then finally, The Gypsy Goddess is the first novel written by one of the following Indian poets in English. And who is the poet? Meena Kandaswamy. Actually, the novel talks about the plight of Dalit agricultural workers. Dalit agricultural workers in Tamil Nadu. In Tamil Nadu. It is actually based on a real massacre. Massacre, killing of the people at a mass level. A real massacre that happened at, yeah, or happened in Kilvenmani on 25 of December 1968. Again, Tamil Nadu. So this real massacre happened in this on this date, and this novel Gypsy Goddess is based on that. It's written by Meena Kandaswamy. So guys, this in a way concludes our session. Hope you liked it. Okay, keep sharing it to all the interested learners of English literature. I will see you in my next video. Thank you.